Facebook is now disclosing details of a major bug in their system that may have exposed nearly 7 million users' private photos to app developers. The company plans to notify people it suspects may have been impacted. Joining us now is Forbes publisher and author of countless books and essays on the tech world, my buddy Rich Karlgaard. So, Rich, you don't think that a lot of Facebook users care much about this, right?
Well, I really don't. Start with the fact there are more than 2 billion Facebook users. The vast majority of them are people like my wife who loves Facebook, could care less, I think, about some of the things that interest the punditry. Facebook is a political football these days. The populist right dislikes them. The populist left dislikes them. And so I think Facebook's got problems going forward. Their growth of new users has slowed. Their share of social media has gone from 18% down to 14% in the last 2 years. And maybe most critically, their advertising revenue is slowed. They're going to have to find new sources of revenue at that company.
Well, Rich, it's funny you mentioned your wife loving Facebook. I think there's a meme here because I'm in the same exact boat. I've stopped using Facebook, but she hasn't, and I kind of yearned for it because I think it's a very good product. But I kind of liken these problems Facebook is having to the problems that the electric utility in California, PG&E, is having. They provide electricity to a lot of people, and they do a really good job of it. But if they have one fire that kills 86 people up in the northern counties from San Francisco, they have huge problems on their hands. And I think that's analogous to the problem Facebook has with people stealing their data. If just a few people are hurt, it's bad news for them.
Well, I wouldn't elevate it to that yet, Adam. I think that the big Pearl Harbor out there, or the thing that might equate it to a fire that takes many lives, would be if Charles Schwab got hacked and people lost their 401ks overnight. It remains to be seen what kind of damage that 6.8 million people having photos that they didn't intend to share with Facebook are shared.
So if I could jump in, I've got a question for Rich. Rich, do you think that the changeover in the House of Representatives come January to Democrats is going to cast a brighter light on a lot of these companies that some in Congress would much rather have broken up? Do you think Facebook is going to be at risk of anything that extreme? Because, again, we're going to have a change of leadership in the Congress.
Yeah, we also have a change in the Attorney General and William Barr. It'll be really interesting to see if William Barr, through the Department of Justice, uses his antitrust weapon to go after companies like Facebook. I think politically, Facebook is a big target, as is Google. But economically, Amazon, I think, is the one to watch, particularly out of the DOJ.
Right. So, Rich, Facebook waited 3 months to tell us about this breach. In Europe, the rules are you got 3 days or you pay up. Do we go more in the way Europe regulates?
I sure hope not, because where's the great technology company that's come out of France? I really think that our Wild West attitude out here, it's got some unsavory aspects to it, but it also has produced the four most valuable companies in the world right now, all of them tech companies.
Hey, Rich, I watch Facebook pretty closely, and all I can tell you is it just feels like Murphy's Law right now. It seems like every week something else comes up, whether it's millennials going away, this new news where they had to be on the Hill. Do they need a change in leadership eventually? Not necessarily Zuckerberg, but others?
Boy, that's a tricky question. When you have these brilliant founder CEOs, at some point they all reach a challenge, a major challenge. Bill Gates reached it at Microsoft in the late 90s. Michael Dell reached it when their stock stopped depreciating. Larry Ellison had to bring in an outside CEO at Oracle to get on to the next wave. Steve Jobs had to spend 11 years outside of Apple before he came back and was a really good CEO the second time. And Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg have arrived at that point right now. I hope they can grow, but maybe they can't.
By the way, I hope that no hackers were listening to your suggestion that maybe some hacker would get into our 401k. Talk about scary ideas. That's one thing that scares the heck out of me.
Through Facebook.
But blockchain technology, some people are pointing to blockchain technology as a possible technological solution to this, that somehow the blockchain technology will provide a buffer between the user and the hackers that we don't now have. Do you know anything about that?
I think blockchain has been oversold. I think it's sort of hard to tease out what's really valuable there beyond cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency clearly has been oversold. Now, I've been told by some people who are really smart that come the day when quantum computing overtakes the current computer architecture and goes up by leaps and bounds, and being able to then, at that point, to basically hack into anything, unless you have great ways of blocking, then blockchain really becomes important. But I think it's one of those technologies that is really 3 to 5 years out there before it has any meaningful impact.
Yeah, let me augment that, David, give you a slightly different answer. If Facebook were built on blockchain, then maybe then the answer would be yes. But the problem is Facebook is not built on blockchain. It's built on the internet, as is everything else that we know about. So blockchain can't solve those problems. It can only solve new problems.
No, and I mean, and just if you want to back out to the perspective of a shareholder when it comes to a stock like Facebook, every single time you have a scandal like this break out, this is just like what's been happening to the big banks in the United States for the past few years and the increasing cost of compliance. Every time Facebook has to deal with one of these upsets, they have to spend more and more and more money to safeguard privacy. And from the perspective of a shareholder, that means that it's going to take that the bottom line of the stock is going to keep taking a hit. Yeah. We have to remember that Facebook stands for the F in FANG stocks, and that is a big part of what has been pulling this market back for the past few months.
But a lot of people are separating the different FANG stocks, if you will, and saying, you know what, Facebook's a different story now. We can't lump them together with a Netflix or an Apple because they face different issues. The Facebook problem is very different from
Apple, and of course now we have to mention Microsoft once again. It is in a 3-horse race with Amazon and Apple to be the most valuable company in the world on any given day. And Apple and Microsoft are arguably value stocks. They don't have these gaudy price-earnings ratios. Yeah. And when you look at Amazon, it does. But when you look at Amazon's cash flow, it's pretty solidly valued right now. Facebook is valued on its growth prospects, and the growth prospects have slowed, particularly its revenue growth.
Okay. Rich Karlgaard, always a pleasure to see you, Rich. Please come back again and see us soon.
Thank you very much, David and the gang.